Welcome. I am so glad that you're here today. So let me introduce myself. My name is Cindy Lavasser. I am the Family Wellness Coordinator with Blue Ridge Behavioral Healthcare. So I also have an Associate of Arts in Education and a Bachelor of Science in Special Education. I have been married to my husband for over 30 years, and we have two adult children, one of whom has autism and also another one who had experienced a rare and significant medical issue as a young child. So I come to you with something in common, and it is my hope that by the end of the webinar today, you will feel empowered and find extra information and resources that will help you to be a stronger parent. So with that being said, let's get started. So today's topic is sibling support. What about me? This is something that really hits home for me. And out of all of the several different webinar topics that I have to speak on, this is the one that I feel is the most important. My hope for today is that you leave this webinar with some insight on how to do the best that you can to ensure that any sibling of a child who has special needs or significant medical challenges does not end up feeling like a glass child. Does anyone here know what the term glass child means? Well, I want you to think about that. As stated by Allison Cundy, a staff writer for the ARC program of Monroe, New York, glass children are siblings of a person with a disability. The word glass means people tend to see right through them and focus only on the person with the disability. As a parent, you are truly doing the best that you can, but you cannot help the fact that your child who has either special needs or a significant health challenge consumes a lot of your time, shifting attention away from other children in the home. I understand 100% how this makes you feel. There is hope in addressing this, but first, let's dig deeper into the sibling relationship. Now, anyone who has more than one child could likely attest to just how much work goes into doing your best to understand and parent each individual child in a way that meets their needs. When one or more siblings has a health challenge or a special need, it will change the family dynamics and increase the stress on a family. So I want you to think about something. Is there anything that your family has faced that you feel that families that have typically developing children don't? Some examples may be like trying to find a babysitter for your child that has special needs, or maybe you have faced difficulties in being able to work due to the care that your child needs. Also, you have to consider when your children are involved in extracurricular activities, is it difficult for you to be able to get out of the house to get them there? These are all obstacles and barriers that families that have children with special needs or significant medical challenges can face. I want you all to know that it is enough to do your best. That's all any of us can do. The fact that you are here today shows your intention to become aware of how this impacts your typically functioning children. Personally, I sometimes feel like a superhero for the things that I can accomplish for my family. Sometimes I feel like I have failed. Balancing the needs of having a child with any kind of special needs, along with meeting the needs of any other children that you have, is tough. Factor as well other family members whose needs you are also trying to address. But what about your own needs? What are you doing to make sure that your own needs are being addressed? You will be a better parent if you make the time to care for yourself too. Trust me on that. Now, siblings, well, sometimes they argue and sometimes they are the best of friends. One of your jobs as the parent is to take responsibility and act as the referee to keep all of your children psychologically and physically safe. What I will add to this conversation is this: lots of reasons no excuses. As parents, we cannot excuse or dismiss hurtful behavior by saying the child with special needs or a health challenge cannot help it if they act out towards another sibling or another individual. If your child that has special needs or another health challenge is verbally or physically hurtful towards anyone, you have to do your best to not dismiss that, saying it could not be helped due to the diagnosis. If you choose that route, you are telling the individual that got hurt that they have to accept what they get and that the diagnosis is to blame. That kind of approach can be very hurtful to a typically developing sibling. The situation can be helped. Sometimes you have to be creative as a parent when you problem solve. If a child is aggressive, we must work with that child to help them find alternative and safer ways for them to vent their frustrations. Although a child with challenges may get frustrated, it is never okay to hit or hurt a family member. Under no circumstances should siblings be let off the hook for hurting one another. This includes not only physical hitting, but name calling, hurtful remarks, and deliberately excluding someone from being part of an activity. So let me share with you a personal example. My son, as a young child, was nonverbal until he was 5 years old due to his autism diagnosis. One time, while traveling in our vehicle in the midst of a sensory meltdown, which involved physical kicking, screaming, and arms flailing, he inadvertently hit his sibling with his arm. Realizing that our son lacked the capacity at that time to benefit from behavioral redirection, my husband and I traded in our car for a minivan with bucket seats. This may be extreme, but this did protect our daughter from his outbursts. When the language barrier improved, we were able to address this better. What I'm saying is that as a parent, we become fixers. We fix things for our children to make things better. So fiscal management, well, every member of a family has needs. One person's needs are not more important than another's, although prioritizing is a necessity. This is where wants versus needs comes into play. So what does fiscal prioritizing look like from a family perspective? An example of this would be that if money is tight and you have to pay for physical therapy for one child, then this may mean that you are not able to buy a video game for another. The sibling that wanted the video game is undeniably going to be upset. This is where we have to prioritize a need over a want. This is a hard concept for children to understand. I bet you have faced that situation before in your own family. I know I have. So think about, how did you handle that? It's a hard job balancing the needs of every child in the family, and it gets extra hard when a child has a medical challenge or special needs. As a parent, you can only do the best that you can. This is a great opportunity to teach children about the concept of budgeting so that they have a head start on having good money management skills when they get older. As parents, we need to try and find a way to make sure that the sibling does not feel it is their other sibling's fault that they cannot get the things that they want sometimes. I encourage you to proactively think ahead of how you can handle situations where either the sibling cannot do something or get an item that they want due to the other sibling's special needs. For example, if the child wanted to buy something, but you don't have the funds for it, maybe the sibling with special needs or health challenges is having an off day and has a meltdown at the park, and you have to leave early. Well, I would suggest telling the child that you are sorry that they are disappointed and that you will set aside a specific day and time that you do something just with that child. It is very important that you acknowledge your child's feelings of disappointment or frustration. So, emotional intelligence. Let children know that it is okay to experience feelings and help them put a label on it. This is a great opportunity to teach your child about emotional intelligence. Teach them the tools that they need to help manage them. One tool is to keep that door of communication open with you, the parent. A child witnessing another sibling going through extensive medical treatments, unexpected medical crises, or prolonged physical or behavioral outbursts, this can be traumatic for them. Some children may benefit from play therapy or even counseling. You know your child best, and only you can make that determination as to how to best support your child. Now let's talk about SIFT. The SIFT technique is built on the work of Dr. Dan Siegel, who is a very prominent psychiatrist. The idea is that we have all experienced the world around us, and we make conscious or unconscious decisions about our value and our behavior. Internally, we have sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts about what is happening in our environment. From this, we come up with the acronym of SIFT. S is for sensations, I is for images, F is for feelings, and T is for thoughts. Children are always sifting. When a child feels disconnected, like excluded or insignificant, they may act out or withdraw. They may display a loss of control, such as with power struggles or role reversals. They may show instability, like in anxiety or regressions. They may exhibit some self-centered reactions, like acting embarrassed, ambivalent, jealous, or feeling guilty. They may also have some misconceptions about their sibling's health challenge or the special needs diagnosis. Well, I searched far and wide for some helpful tips and techniques that can be used to support individuals that have a sibling with any kind of special needs. And based on my personal and educational background, I think that you will find this information helpful. On the next 3 slides, I am going to quote information provided by kidshealth.org from Nemours Children's Health. So for preschool-age children, set aside time together. Preschoolers often feel that everything is about them and what they want, so it can be hard to get them to understand why a sibling might need more time with you. It helps to set aside some one-on-one time with your preschooler. Just a few minutes spent playing ball or letting your little one help you in the kitchen at mealtime can provide the mommy or daddy time that your child needs. And then explain honestly and simply. When kids ask about their siblings' abilities, explain the condition using simple language in a way that they can understand. Use real words like cerebral palsy instead of boo-boo. This way, they're not overly worried about everyday bumps and bruises. Say something like, your brother has trouble walking because he has cerebral palsy. If your child asks, what is cerebral palsy? Explain in simple terms that it's a condition that makes it harder to do the same things as other kids. Offer reassurance. Kids this age are magical thinkers, so the drink poured at the tea party is truly hot, and the monsters under the bed are very real. When kids have a sibling with special health care needs, this type of thinking can mean that they worry that a disability is an illness, like the common cold. Reassure your child that they can't catch a condition like cerebral palsy, and that nothing either child did caused the condition. It is no one's fault. School-age children speak in age-appropriate ways. As kids get older, they'll want to understand more about a sibling's condition. Don't be afraid to answer questions. For example, for questions about a sibling who has trouble getting around, you might give a little bit more info. His legs don't work because of his cerebral palsy. The next question might be, will he ever walk? To which you need to answer honestly, I don't know if he will, but we're going to try to help him do that. That's why he has therapy. Make memories together. Your child may be sad or worried about their child's health, but playing together and enjoying each other's company can help. Encourage your child to read books to their sibling, build block towers together, and do activities with finger paint, or clay. Role play explaining to others. Kids this age start to have to explain their sibling's condition to their peers. Some friends may ask rude questions or even engage in bullying behavior, such as name calling, which can leave your child feeling embarrassed, angry, or guilty. Help your child practice things to say. For example, if someone asks, "What's wrong with your sister?" your child can simply say, "She has cerebral palsy." Or if a classmate uses an unkind term to describe the sibling with a disability, let your other kids know that as hard as it is, they must not act out in anger. Instead, help them explain the situation. "It's harder for my sister to learn new things than it is for you and me, but that doesn't make it okay to say mean things about her." And handling sibling rivalry. Sibling rivalry also builds at this age, so don't be surprised if kids act jealous of their brother or sister. After all, they see their sibling getting extra attention or being excused from chores. Say that this is the way it has to be. Remind your child that they have other opportunities that their sibling does not. Fair does not always mean equal. Now, for teenagers, set reasonable responsibilities. You might rely on your teen to babysit or help more with chores around the house. Teens might feel pressure to take on more responsibility than they should at this age. Don't ask too much. Make certain responsibilities, such as babysitting, a choice. This will help teens feel that they have control over how much they help out. For example, it would be great if you could watch your sister, but if you want to go out with your friends, that's okay too. Don't ask for perfection. Typically, developing children sometimes feel extra pressure to be perfect so that their parents don't have to worry about them. Don't set unrealistic goals when it comes to schoolwork or extracurricular activities. Encourage safe exploration. Teens are struggling with their independence from parents, and a teen who has a sibling with a disability may also struggle with the idea of life apart from that sibling. Let your teen know that wanting more independence and experiencing more of the world is normal, healthy, and encouraged within safe limits. And finally, have a plan for the future. As teens near adulthood, they might start to worry about the future and wonder who is going to help care for the siblings once they've moved out, or if something happens to you. Reassure your teen that whatever the future holds, you will create a plan that will work for everyone in the family. Now, the positives of having a special sibling. Well, does having a sibling with special needs impact a child negatively in some capacity? Yes, it does. But I challenge you to shift this negativity into a positive. Try to see the good. I want you to reflect for a moment and think, is there any positive characteristics you have seen in your typically functioning child or children that you think may be the result of having a sibling with special needs? Well, I can share that with my oldest child. I see that she is more mature than her peers, has extreme patience, is very empathetic, very nurturing, shows perseverance in overcoming adversity, has resiliency, and a strong work ethic. I also see that she very much adores her brother, who has autism, and would do anything to protect him. So, know what else happened? She went on to get a master's degree in special education and became a board-certified behavioral analyst and works at an autism clinic helping other children with autism to reach their full potential in life. Her brother's autism diagnosis led her to what she has told me is her life's passion. So, if handled correctly, you can use the sibling's disability to a positive advantage for the sibling that is neurotypically functioning. Now, don't do for your children what they can do for themselves. It can become very easy to just do everything for your children. I know it is quicker, but that does not mean it's the best choice. Allow every child in your family, special needs or not, the opportunity to soar. Just be careful not to ask your child to give more than what they are developmentally capable of, And also keep in mind that even most children with special needs or other health challenges can contribute to household chores, even if it is a simple task. This will go a long way in fostering a great sibling relationship, as well as promote self-esteem in the child that has special needs. If a sibling has chores to do and they observe that the child with special needs does not have to do anything, that builds resentment. Even if you have to hand over hand help a child with special needs put a napkin on the table for dinner, then so be it. Build extra time in your schedule and/or make accommodations to allow every child to take the time that they need to complete a task independently and let them experience the pride when they succeed. For example, I bought slip-on sneakers with Velcro for my son until he was about 12 years old to save time and frustration. Until one day he said that he wanted to have sneakers that tied like his friends. So after working with the physical therapist, we found a way to help him learn how to tie his shoes. The smile on his face when he gained that skill was priceless. So think about some ways that you can adapt things for your children that will help them to build their independence. And in the long run, this will also save you time as soon as your child has mastered more skills for independence, because then you will not have to do that much extra for them. So some supportive actions that you as a parent or caregiver can take to help build resilience in a child that has a sibling with special needs or a significant health challenge. You can encourage the child to get involved in a sport or other group where they can spend time nurturing their interests and talents and build their self-esteem and social networks. Also, be sure to allow your child that has special needs or other health challenges the same opportunity. They are just as willing and want to also do the same. Allow your child the opportunity to develop a sense of identity separate from just being known as the sibling's brother or sister. Look for ways to connect your child with other children their age who have a sibling with special needs or other health challenges where they can share their lived experience with. Just as parents can feel isolated, the same applies to neurotypically functioning children in a family that has a child with special needs or other health challenges. Now let's check out this video that promotes a shining example of a great sibling relationship and how having a sibling with special needs can be a positive in your typically developing children's life. So let's hear the story of the Long brothers.
That doctor pretty much told us, your son is going to be a burden on your family. Put him in a home. You've already got one kid, he's okay. This one has cerebral palsy, like he's going to be a vegetable. He's going to be in a wheelchair the rest of his life. He'll never leave your house. Put him in a home.
When we found out we were having another little boy, they are so close in age. They were supposed to be biking and fishing together. But what Connor did for Caden and that one little choice to do a race on a weekend, it changed them.
It changed.
My name's Connor and my brother's name is Caden, and we raced together in triathlons.
For most young boys like Connor Long, the bonds of childhood are formed outdoors, playing together. But Connor's 6-year-old brother Caden has been relegated to the sidelines for most of his life. Then an idea born out of a desire to connect with Caden. To become not just brothers or even playmates, but teammates, competing together in triathlons.
When I see him smiling and laughing, that means he's having a good time.
And though they would finish last, they finished together as one.
He's really excited before the race. He stays up to like 1 or 2 in the morning. But after that, he falls asleep in the cart.
This is our kitchen. We usually have this type of breakfast on the weekend. It's
kind
of our, yeah, they cook the eggs and stuff, so feed it right there.
The one thing that makes me really mad is when people walk down the road and say, R-word, if you know what that is. I just tell him that, like, it doesn't matter what he looks like on the outside, it's matter what's on the inside. And he still has regular feelings like we do. And he understands what you say about him. If people could race with people that can't walk or talk or have any kind of autism, it might open eyes of people that don't really care about it. And maybe the people that don't care in the past will care in the future and actually do it with somebody. 10 years from now, the perfect place for me and Caden would be, like, you know how people have the American flag on the moon? We'll have the Team Long Brothers flag on the moon.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage the winners of the 2012 Sports Illustrated Kids Sports Kid of the Year contest, joined by their parents, Connor and Caden Long.
Hello, everybody. This is really awesome for me and Caden to do this because we've been waiting for a very long time. And a lot of people think that we would never be able to do something like this, but we can always do anything.
Wow, I'm lost for words. Connor and Caden are the real sportsmen of the years. They label it as sports kids. Nah, they're the real sportsmen of the year. That story right there is, if it didn't go off soon, it would have had me in tears. You guys are definitely coming down to Miami to see a game, to meet our team. You guys are unbelievable, and what you do for your brother is unbelievable. I got two sons, 8 and 5, so they will be seeing that story. I don't have to preach anymore because what you do, I can just show that in my older son and know what he should do for his younger brother.
Okay, so now let's talk about family time. Your to-do list is never going to get to 0. Be intentional about adding time each week to your schedule to do at least one activity together as a family. This will help the entire family. I know it is hard, but trust me when I say that I have been there. So some things to think about. What can you do to ensure that you are nurturing a positive relationship between all siblings in the home? Self-reflection. Have you made any excuses for undesirable behavior? And then spend some time with each child and set aside a time to talk to them about how they are feeling. Look for opportunities that will help each child in your home to thrive developmentally and socially. Implement a weekly family activity. Work on your own self-care. Lead by example. You are amazing. Parenting is hard work. Parenting a child with special needs or a significant health challenge is even harder. Parenting a child with special needs or a significant health challenge along with other children is in a league all of its own. You've got this. You are amazing. Never forget that. So we do have other webinars that are available. So if you have not done so already, please go to our website. You will see several different topics available to choose from. And from there, you can register for other workshops and webinars. We also have on this website parent workshops for neurotypically functioning children. We cover from birth to age 5 and age 5 to 12. We also have an option potentially for parents to have children of teenagers. So please go onto the website and check out what we have to offer, and then feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You will see links on the website for that as well. Please take a moment and do this survey with your phone with the QR code. We appreciate that. I will leave this up for a moment so that you have time to do that. So again, thank you so much for doing this webinar. I do hope that you found the information very helpful, very inspiring, and also make sure that you are taking time to do your own self-care. It will make you a stronger parent. So for a disclaimer, I do have to add that all content provided in this webinar is for general information purposes only. All of the information given is provided in good faith, and Family Wellness Roanoke will not be liable for any errors or omissions in the content provided, and will not be liable for any losses, injuries, or damages from the display or use of the general information provided in this webinar. This information is not meant to be a substitute for seeking medical or legal advice. So again, thank you so much for viewing this webinar. You can always reach out to me at clevasseur@brbh.org. Have a great day.